making sense of the finances of divorce.
If it doesn't go well, I know that I'm going to be able to pay myself that cell phone bill and, you know, buy a bus ticket to my parents' basement. Like, I just got those things are covered.
How to make the best decisions for your well-being.
I'm going to say something really controversial and really hard.
Yeah.
It's only money.
Then, dating has changed and the options are endless.
I think we need to take it on ourselves to eat from the dating buffet. Eat exactly according to your taste. Try a little bit of everything.
And later, an eye-opening chat about celebrity wine.
Usually I would actually walk in the opposite direction of a celebrity wine, because I'd assume that, you know, they don't know what they're doing. But I have been told I am wrong.
Don't be too quick to judge.
Isn't it good?
Yeah, it's good.
It's much, I tell people all the time, it's much better than you expect.
Yeah.
It's Cityline with Tracy Moore.
Coming. Welcome to Cityline, everyone. So it's the lead up to Valentine's Day, the day of love. We're cooking up a romantic dish for two. We're going to sip some wines made by your favorite celebs, and we're going to unpack the dating trends that singles should look out for. So I wore my heart dress and everything. Do you like it? My heart dress. Okay. But we're also going to talk about the other side, something that may feel a bit taboo around this time of year, the topic of divorce. Getting divorced or going through a separation can disrupt your life and your finances and create a lot of change in your personal situation, but a little help can go a long way. To help us manage the finances of divorce is Bruce Celery.
Hey, Tracy.
Hey.
We're never going to get divorced, right? We're gonna be friends forever. Forever.
You and me forever and ever and ever and amen. But
yeah.
When I say the finances can make things really difficult when you're getting out of a situation that you've been in for, I don't know, however many years, it's a real thing.
It's a huge thing.
It's a huge thing. Money is a huge thing. So there's a lot to consider when it comes to money and divorce. Do you want to look at the different stages?
I want to look at the stages, but before I do, I want to set some context here.
Give us some context.
And that is that divorce can be a traumatic event. Even if you want it, even if it's the right thing to do, even if you're on great terms with your former spouse, even if it's simple, it can be really traumatic. So when you think about all the mom and apple pie rules about personal finance, you need to just take a breath. Because if someone says to you in this process, you need to save 10% of your income, you're like, oh, wait a second, my future is unclear. I don't know what's happening. I am filled with rage and angst. I am not going to spend Sunday afternoon cash stuffing like they do on TikTok. And no, I will not file my taxes on time. So we need to have some slack. The person who's going through this needs to cut themselves some slack, and the friends and the family members around them need to remember what they're going through and cut them some slack in this area.
I like that you started with that.
It's critical.
Give yourself some grace. Be very forgiving. You're going through a big disruption in your life, okay? Okay, so let's talk about the different stages of divorce. There's the before, there's the during, there's the after. And finances will be sort of a different story in all of those.
All the way through. And I smile about before because two people could have very different perspectives in before. One person knows they've been secretly plotting, and the other person could be blindsided.
Right.
If you're the person, maybe not plotting, but this is kind of a thought you have, there are some things you can do to prep. So one would be to gather paperwork. There's going to be paperwork. There's financial statements. There's tax returns. A second thing is to check your credit score, because every individual is assessed by lenders, and you should know what that number is for you, because if you need to go and apply for an apartment or apply for a credit card, that's critical. Make sure you have a credit card in your own name. Just so important for you to have sovereignty over your spending. You also want to develop a basic budget here, because if you're moving out, there is an additional cost or costs that you're going to incur. And it is also important in that before stage to pull back on discretionary spending. It's going to be expensive. There's no way around it. And one final thing, and I think this is really important, is access to cash. Maybe it's like a wad of cash hidden somewhere. Maybe it's a separate bank account. It will provide you with some peace of mind to say, listen, I hope this is going to go well. If it doesn't go well, I know that I'm going to be able to pay my cell phone bill and, you know, buy a bus ticket to my parents' basement. Like I've just got those things are covered.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Have your little slush fund, right?
Yes.
Let's talk about the during stage.
Yes.
So you're going through it right now. What are we thinking about money-wise?
It can vary so dramatically depending on the dynamics of the relationship, your project management skills, and how complex your situation is. So civil and simple, fast, conflict-filled, and complex, it can take years and years and years. My favorite book in this area is called Untying the Knot. One of the particular things that she recommends is in this during phase, she calls it divorce limbo, and it really is, focus not on the end goal. Focus on the next step and the next step and the next step, because otherwise it just becomes too overwhelming. The other critical thing about the during phase is who are your people? And you know, you think about your support group in lots of different ways. When it comes to personal finance, maybe it's a financial advisor, an accountant, a mortgage broker, something like that. You may have had those people in your marriage, and you may need different people now that that marriage is coming to an end.
Okay, so the during might last however long it lasts. How are you budgeting for it? What are you doing?
It is critical. You're doing the budget in the way that you would have done it before, but you're considering additional costs. So simply, that could be rent and food. It could be child support. So what's coming in, what's the income, and what's going out? And just having an awareness of how that is going to work is so critical. One of the most difficult decisions, ask anyone who's been divorced, especially if they've got kids, one of the most difficult decisions is the family home. And Lavelle's advice there is to really try to look at that from a financial perspective, because the emotions make that so muddy and so fraught and so complicated. And as you think about the emotional stuff, remember that there is upset and there is guilt, and spending from that perspective could dig you into a very, very difficult hole. At the very same time is you're going to need to spend money on self-care, and that is therapy, it's massage, maybe it's flowers. Flowers are $10 at the grocery store, and you may be someone who's like, that is a key item on my budget every single week, and hooray for you.
I like that. I met a guy at the flower shop, and he said, I'm buying myself tulips. And I'm like, as you should, sir.
As you should.
So the money part of a divorce can be wrapped up so tightly in the conflict itself. How do you separate that?
I'm going to say something really controversial and really hard. It's only money. And you have to hear that phrase in the paradox that it is, because literally it's only money. It's a tool. It's a tool to do stuff. And it can be fraught and filled with emotion. And for people who are dealing with this uncharted future, they're like, it's not just money. This is my ability to feed my children. But to the extent that you can live really in the reality of it being numbers on a piece of paper and minimize the amount of emotional charge, that's going to be better for you and for everybody else. Now, it's a negotiation. Divorce is a negotiation. No one gets everything in a negotiation. Money's not a great way to have vengeance and control manifest in that. It's fraught.
It is, and it's hard to make it not tiptoe into that. The after is when you are writing your next chapter, so hopefully that looks good.
Hopefully it looks good. It's a fresh start. It's the basics. It's insurance and budgeting and starting to plan for this new future that you're creating for yourself.
Well, while we plan for the future, we want to talk to a couple of our Cityline experts who have been through the process. So Julie Miguel and Alana McGinn, come on in. I'm so excited to have you be part of this conversation. So I want to ask you this. Which part of your finances did you struggle with the most? Julie, I'll start with you. Or which phase did you think was the hardest?
The during was definitely the hardest. And he said something, it's just money. And that's the hardest thing for me. And I didn't budget for the legal aspect of it. I wanted to get every penny I was owed, and I would not let go. And that it was very expensive. Lawyers are very, very expensive, and I'm not that much farther ahead. So something that I learned is that, you know, we only have one mind, one body. You can't replace that. And it should never, our physical and mental health should never come at the expense of gaining a little bit of money.
So you had to cut your losses at some point and be
Yes.
like, I need to put myself first.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I would have been the worst friend advisor for you. Get every penny.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Yeah.
You'd be like, I'm dying inside.
Right.
So you have to stop at some point.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, Alana, talk to me about the scariest part about deciding to have this divorce.
Was the finances. You know, I remember the moment standing in my kitchen and thinking, okay, you are going to be a single parent. This is happening, and you are going to have to provide for yourself and your kids on a single income. In a time where a single income is very hard, a double income is very hard.
Yeah.
So, that was the 100% the scariest thing.
And
Yeah.
for you, in terms of who's managing the money, your ex is a financial advisor.
Right. So he
Yeah.
always, I mean, this is no fault of mine or his.
Yeah.
That was just our marriage. He always handled that stuff. So financial education for me right now is huge. I mean, I learned as I went throughout the divorce. I mean, the divorce, you're learning so many things, and then having to also learn proper financial education was a big deal. So
Yes.
just like what you said, you know, gather your team and every step forward, and I will never make that mistake again.
I think it's important to acknowledge there is a gendered dynamic here. So women and men have a different reality. There are different strengths and weaknesses, and let's just call it what it is. And so my call to action for women walking this path is to really do everything you can to have agency, to lead, to overcome a lot of the negatives out there that are there just because of the gender that you were.
Big
Yeah.
conversation I'm having with my daughters.
Well, those two they're in control now. You should be talking to me. Like, I need to get on top of things, right?
Yes, you
I need
do.
to get on top of things. So thank you, Bruce. Thank you, Julie. Thank you, Alana, for the conversation. We're going to keep it going. Alana and Julie will be back to talk about divorce first. Stay tuned for that. Stay with us.
Coming up, starting over after a divorce. Just kind of ripped the Band-Aid. Went to my first wedding by myself. I went to events. I hung out with friends as much as I could. I just did that, even though it was very weird for everyone around me.
Welcome back. First comes love, then comes marriage, and then comes divorce sometimes. Back to share their divorce stories and how they're building new beginnings after uncoupling are Alana and Julie. Thank you so much for coming back and for talking about all this. So, Alana, how long were you and your ex together, and when did you get divorced?
So we were together for 20 years, married for 15, and we separated in June of 2022. So not
Okay.
yet divorced, separated.
Right, you're still
Yes.
in your during right now. Jules, how about you?
We were together for about 17 years, married for almost 10, and separated. I'm officially divorced and separated for, this is my 6th year.
You said it with like so much happiness.
Now divorced.
I'm officially divorced.
It was a long process.
Yes.
It was a very long process.
We're going to get into some of that in a second, but I want to start with you, Alana. Tell us the first time you thought to yourself, you know what, I don't think this marriage is going to make it.
You know, I mean, listen, the writing was on the wall for a while, and it just got to a point where my kids were getting to an age and older where I was realizing that we were modeling a marriage that I didn't want them to think that that's what marriage was. Nor did I want, you know, I just take a step back and think, is this a marriage that I would want for my children? And it wasn't. And so then I had to take another step back and think, well, why is this a marriage that I want for myself or for my ex, you know? For both of us. So it was at that point where I knew, you know, a decision needed to be made, for sure.
I don't know if you've heard about the peel the orange test, but it's like, would your partner peel an orange for you? And this is supposed to be some sort of litmus test, like, do they care about you? Do they like you?
Yeah.
Was there a moment like that at any point in your marriage where you're like, this guy's not peeling my orange?
You know, I mean, listen, I wasn't peeling his orange either.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
Right.
it got to the point where, you know, we can throw around the word love. Sure, of course, he's the father of my children, but it's like, do we like each other? You know, is there that respect there? I think the word respect often needs to be more discussed in marriage, because you can say you love someone, but do you respect them? And that was missing on both sides, for sure.
Okay, fair. Julie, let's talk about sharing the news, which I'm sure was daunting. What was it like sharing the news of your separation and your divorce with your family and your friends?
So we were together for such a long time, and my ex didn't really like sharing when we were having issues and everything like that. It carried a lot of shame. So I didn't share any of the issues we were having. So when we did you know, separate and we were ready to tell the news, I told the news. My family was shocked. Like, they had no idea what was going on. They had no idea. And I come from a very traditional Italian upbringing where you don't get really divorced. You just work it out, and you just live unhappily forever and ever.
Yeah.
So they were shocked, and I was exhausted because I was constantly just explaining myself. So it was a very daunting process.
Did you ever like duck out of those family events, like just to not have to spend all that emotional labor explaining to people?
No, I didn't. I was very much, I wanted to move on. So, and I just kind of ripped the Band-Aid. Went to my first wedding by myself. I went to events. I hung out with friends as much as I could. I just did that, even though it was very weird for everyone around me. It was very weird. Like, it's a grieving process for everyone, you know? So, so I did those things, and it got me to where I am today. Like, it made things more and more comfortable as I did them.
Okay, there's no real rule book for how you're supposed to do it, right?
No.
You just got to really test the waters. Did either of you feel, and I'll start with you, Alana, like you failed because your marriage ended?
You know what? I didn't. And I have a great tribe around me. And one of my girlfriends who went through divorce said to me right in the beginning, she said, never let anyone feel like you failed, because you know what? Look at it. You had a great run. I had a 15-year marriage. I have 3 amazing kids out of that marriage. I can't look at it with any regrets just for that reason alone, you know? So where my concern was is I come from a family, you know, my parents are married 50+ years, and like Julie, I kept a lot of stuff in. So it was a bit of a shock to people, and I was really worried about disappointing them. I actually thought to myself many times, and I've heard a few other people say this, you know what, I'm just going to stick it out until my parents are gone, because I was so worried about telling them, and would I disappoint them? And, you know, divorce isn't really in my family. Thankfully, I didn't for many reasons, but one, I mean, my parents were my biggest rocks through the whole thing. So, yeah.
One thing I think about when it comes to ending a relationship, and it could be a marriage, it could be a friendship, but like, for instance, one of the bridesmaids I had in my wedding was such a close friend, and she isn't anymore. I still have to be able to look back at those pictures and see that there were good times.
Yeah.
So do you look back and do you see the good times still, Jules?
I do. I definitely do.
Yeah.
There were a lot of good times,
Yeah.
and like Alana, like, I have 2 beautiful children.
Yes.
Out of it, and there was a time when we actually did get along, and those were very happy times. I would never throw those away.
For a lot of people, this uncoupling is the first time that they live by themselves, because a lot of us went from our parents to our marriage. This was the case with you, Alana.
Yeah.
Talk to me a little bit about that transition. How was that for you?
It's going really well, Tracy. So yeah, I mean, same. I, you know, live with my parents and, you know, moved in with my ex. I've never lived alone, and it's still very new for me. It's only been a few months, but it is lovely.
Yeah.
The kids, my kids are great. My kids are older, you know, 3 teens. So the transition for them has been, I think, a little bit easier because of that. But I love it.
You love it.
I do love
Are you
it.
leaning against the counter and having a sleeve of crackers with peanut butter for dinner?
I can. Anytime you want.
Anytime you want.
Me and my
that's a
dog.
beautiful
It's great.
thing.
Yeah.
Do you feel like a different person, Julie, now than you did when you were in your marriage?
Definitely. I'm a lot happier now.
Yeah.
Because when you're hiding things and hiding issues, it literally eats at you. Like, it eats at you. So I'm a lot happier now. I face grief and I face shame now, and I work through them instead of just hiding them or doing things to distract myself, like traveling and doing all those things. So I am a lot different now. I definitely take those things into consideration and really move through them.
Talk to me a little bit about community support, finding your village after a divorce. Have you found your village, Alana?
Thank God for my village. I mean, my friends' support was amazing. Like I said, my parents were great. Here, I mean, the amount of tears that I cried in the green room, you know, when we're not shooting segments, we're you know,
That's how we met.
we bonded over divorce, you know. Your team, I mean, you find support in places that you wouldn't think you would, and you need it. And I'm not one to really ask for help or reach out, and I asked for a lot of help the past 2 years, and
You feel less alone when you're talking to other, like, okay, I'm not the only one going through this, you know?
Yeah. And you have your community, you have your village, you're in a new whole blended family situation.
Oh my gosh, yeah, my life is completely different now. I moved in my partner and his 2 kids, so like my house is just full of love, and it's like beautiful, and I love it, and it's a dream come true.
That's so good. I like the fact that magic happens backstage.
Oh, so much magic happens.
There will be
backstage.
experts that meet each other, and then all of a sudden it's like they're in Italy.
Yeah,
They're going on trips together.
We should totally do that. Yeah.
This is magic. It happens back there. It happens in our audience. Let me tell you, there's lots of good energy here. So thank you so much for being so honest. And congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
Congratulations to you. We are going to be back. Julie's going to be back later because she is serving up a beautiful pasta dish. For now, though, we're headed to break. Stay with us, everyone. That's great.
Coming up, I don't have to deal with the new dating world, and it doesn't have to deal with me.
If I was out on the dating scene again, I would be insufferable.
Right.
And it'd be like, who'd you vote for? Why'd you vote for them? What are the reasons? What's your tax bracket? How do you feel about this? Like, I want to know everything. Welcome back, my friends. Whether you're looking for a serious relationship or just a bit of fun, the dating world can be tough to navigate, and I've heard this from the audience as well. So here with a roundup of trends that will influence dating in the year ahead is Dr. Jess O'Reilly. So good to have you, gorgeous.
Happy to be here. Talking
So
dating.
happy to have you. Yeah, so how is the dating landscape changing?
Well, number one, nobody's ever going to say it's good. Right?
Yeah.
If you talk to anyone
No.
who's dating, they're like, it is the worst.
Right.
But I think that with some of the trends that we're going to talk about today, what you'll see is that there are more options than ever. And so I think we need to take it on ourselves to eat from the dating buffet. Eat exactly according to your taste. Try a little bit of everything.
Yes.
And then figure out what works for you without having to eat what everybody else is eating.
Okay, well, as soon as you call it a buffet, I'm in.
You're in.
Yes, I am invested. So we're hearing about NATO dating. NATO makes me think of geopolitics, but I don't think that's what we're talking about. What does this mean?
Thank goodness, no. So we're talking about not attached to outcome dating. So the idea of dating for the experience, being more present and in the moment, not running through a checklist of whether or not this person meets your standards, but just seeing where it goes. Maybe it leads to something casual, maybe it leads to a friendship, maybe it leads to a long-term relationship. So this isn't for everybody, right?
Yeah.
And I'm seeing this kind of led by two cohorts, and there's two cohorts that are strong in the dating scene right now.
Yeah.
People post-divorce who just want to kind of try it out and see where it goes, and then younger folks who maybe don't feel the pressure of a timeline. And I love this dating style because it takes you away from the escalator of feeling as though I must get from this to that to the next, move in together, have kids, all those things.
So at least you don't have that expectation, which maybe might make your dates better. Like, I would be terrible at this.
Okay.
I already know that. But what do you think, audience? Would you do the NATO dating? Do you think a yay or a nay? Yep, lots of thumbs up out there.
Oh.
Good. Listen, I love it for you.
Yeah, yeah.
Not who I am.
Yeah.
Okay, talk to us a little bit about throwback dating.
Throwback dating. So I think we're all seeing this. People who maybe have gotten back together with an old high school friend, maybe a fling, maybe the person who took you to prom who was just a friend at the time.
Yeah.
And so I love this. And I'm thinking of dozens of couples who have reconnected after 20, 30 years. And it's so cool because you often share an old network, you have history, you were already friends and you know a little bit about each other, you might know one another's families. And we have research showing in friendships that it can be very hard to make a new friend. It takes hundreds of hours to make a close friend. And so we often encourage people to try and reconnect with old friends. And this isn't about going back to exes, but I think there's value in reconnecting with people from your past. I think everybody knows somebody,
Why
right?
not go back to exes? Is that wrong?
Okay, it's not.
What if you've grown and evolved and you're different people?
Perhaps, but oftentimes what we see is people get into this thing that we call cycling, where you break up, get back together, break up, get back together.
Yes.
If it works for you, do it,
Yes.
but generally cycling has a negative psychological toll on folks.
I could see that. Okay, throwback dating. What do y'all think of throwback dating? Oh, you're giving it a big thumbs down!
That experience.
Oh, I wonder if there's a story there. We'll be talking during the break. It seems like a good thing. Next up, we have LABT. What does this stand for?
All right, and beautiful acronym, LABT.
Lapped.
Living apart but together. And this is definitely driven by many people post-divorce and specifically hetero women who don't want to be just a purse or a nurse. They don't want another person to take care of in their home. And they are saying, I want the love, I want the pleasure, I want the connection, I want all the fruits of the relationship, but I don't need one more person living in my house. So they are living apart, but together.
Yeah, I love the sounds of that. We went to Disneyland with Cityline last year, and Mickey and Minnie have separate residences with a connecting walkway. I was like, I see how this might work.
They've got the money for it.
They've got
right?
the money for it. Okay, yay or nay, what do we think of LABT? Yes, a lot of yes out there. Oh, but one very big no.
Yeah. I do like a body to keep me warm at night.
Yeah, well, I would think that you would have sleepovers.
Sure, yeah.
Right? Especially if you have the
ask your
Mickey Minnie
parents first.
thing. Ask your parents first. The kids can shuffle back and forth. Like, it'd be awesome. Okay, more people shifting away from monogamy. I hear a lot about this now. So talk to us about this trend.
Yeah, so when we talk about CNM or ENM, meaning consensual non-monogamy or ethical non-monogamy, we're not necessarily seeing a rise in it. I think what we're seeing is more openness to it, talking about it.
Yeah.
And so whereas before maybe people were doing things that weren't so ethical, that weren't so consensual, we're seeing now that a nationally representative survey or study in Canada found that 12% of Canadians consider some sort of an open relationship style, but ethical and consensual, their ideal format. 1/5 have tried it. So 20% of people. So this is more common than we realize. It definitely elicits some response from people, but I think it's important to note that we have early data showing that the relationship outcomes are similar regardless of whether you're monogamous or ethically non-monogamous. And I'm curious what the audience has to say here.
You probably have to have major communication if you're in an ethical, non-monogamous relationship, because you're constantly going back and forth, checking on the rules and
Exactly.
you know what I mean, the way it flows.
Yeah, it's not just a free-for-all.
It's not a free-for-all.
There's mostly just talking and talking and talking. And actually, I think those folks in monogamous relationships can learn from that.
Absolutely. So what do we think of non-monogamy? Ethical non-monogamy. I'm with you.
Yes for the brave souls.
A little bit, yeah, a little bit of yes,
Even
but
if it's
mostly
not
no.
for you, right? It might be
Then
for
yes,
other people.
for other people.
Yeah.
Yes, whatever
If
works
you
for
have
you.
the time and the energy and the finances
Yes.
and the resources.
And if that's the thing that's going to make you the happiest, please do it. Like, please
Absolutely.
pursue that life. Okay, screening out. Another big trend.
Okay, so this is pretty simple. This is making sure that we date people who are aligned with us politically. And so we already see the dating apps offer badges so that you can indicate whether you voted. You can indicate political party on some of them. And this may seem like, oh, we're just trying to create a silo of people who have everything in common. But when we think about values, this is a really big one, especially if you're part of a group who is very adversely affected from different political outcomes. So,
Right.
yeah, this is a big one.
I know that you mentioned it could potentially be unsafe for you to be dating someone with certain philosophical views. So it makes perfect sense to me. I mean, I want a full checklist. I want to do an interview. If I was out on the dating scene again, I would be insufferable.
Right.
And it'd be like, who'd you vote for? Why'd you vote for them? What are the reasons? What's your tax bracket? How do you feel about this? Like, I want to know everything. I want to know who you donate to. I would want to know the whole nine.
Oh my goodness.
What do you guys think of screening? For like politics and what have you? Yes, yeah.
So you can
It's kind of
disagree on
important.
pineapple on pizza. You can disagree on different things, how much time you spend together. You can have different family values to some degree.
Yes.
But some of these issues are so
big.
tied to who we are on the inside.
Absolutely. Politics is personal,
Absolutely.
right? Jess, thank you so much for that.
Nice to see you. A
Dating's
pleasure.
so exciting. It's always good to see you. We're headed to break. Lots more Cityline coming up. Stay with us. Good stuff. Coming up, sampling celebrity wines.
This is owned by Sting and Trudy Styler.
Oh,
Isn't
Sting.
this fun?
He makes good music. Does he make good wine? Welcome back. It's Valentine's, Galentine's, Palentine's Day tomorrow. What better way to celebrate it than with some wine? Better yet, celebrity wine. Renee Sferrazza is here with her favorite list. You brought all of them. Before we even get into the list, I want to ask you, well, first I want to ask the audience. In the audience, are you likely to buy and try a celebrity wine because it's made by a celebrity? You can give me applause if you try a celeb wine. Yeah. A few of them have already told me about the celeb wine they've tried. And it's like, I
really?
keep hearing about this wine and it's on the table. So we'll get into that
down
in a
over
moment.
here, I think.
It because these wines are definitely having a moment.
They are. So there's more celebrity wines now than ever before, but there's different levels of involvement in the celebrity wine. Not all these celebrities are making the wines. A lot of times they're in the blending process. Maybe they're owning the winery and making the wine, or maybe they're acting more as like a winery CEO. Wine is this big world. So there's different levels of involvement as we go along the way. And that's what each of these wines have.
Okay, all right. Usually I would actually walk in the opposite direction of a celebrity wine because I'd assume that, you know, they don't know what they're doing. But I have been told I am wrong. So let's start with celeb.
I wouldn't say that you're wrong.
I am wrong.
I would say we don't want to go right or wrong. We want to give everything a chance.
Give it a chance.
Give it a chance.
Give it
Even
a
though it's made by a
chance.
celebrity, if you might have a preconceived notion, let's give them all a chance equally.
Well, I want to give this a chance.
Yeah, let's give
Whose
this
wine
a chance.
is this?
So this is the In Vivo X SJP Sarah Jessica Parker's Sauvignon Blanc. There we go. We love a Sarah Jessica Parker moment. So I want you to give this a good smell and a taste. I'm going to tell you more about it. So In Vivo, the people behind it is actually Rob Cameron and Tim Lightbourne. They've made wine with Graham Norton before.
This is good.
Isn't it good? Okay, so the fun thing about this is Sarah Jessica is part of the blending process of this wine. I actually got to interview her a while ago. They give her about 100 to 200 different samples, and her palate, she likes oaky Chardonnays. So this is not a quaffable New Zealand wine. There's some skin contact oak in there.
It's
really
alive.
fun.
It's like really refreshing. It's lovely. I'm going in for another.
Going for another one. So this is perfect because this benefits from her palate. Now we have a more complex wine, and that we see her notes right in there.
Very good.
But not all celebrity wines are like this. Some of them are a little bit more rigorous. So this is the the Francis Ford Coppola Sophia Rosé. Give that a taste and a smell. This is a blend of Pinot Noir and Grenache with a touch of oak on it. It's from the Francis Ford Coppola winery, and this is a winery that I think of when do you think of a celebrity being involved in the winemaking process?
Yeah.
So this wine is named after his daughter Sophia, who's also a director. She just finished Priscilla. Yeah. Francis Ford Coppola directed Apocalypse Now and The Godfather. He has winemaking in his family, so he wanted to start this winery.
Okay.
Now he lives as a vintner. He actually has made more wine than his directing credits.
Ooh.
And he's bought some really great properties like the Nabob Mansion in Napa. You also have the Chateau Souverain in Sonoma, where they make their diamond collection. So it's a bit more involved.
It's good.
Isn't it delightful?
It's good. It's dry. Yeah, I like it.
It's dry. It's bright.
Yes.
And now we're going to go to Italy for our next one. This is the When We Dance Chianti Classico by Il Pelagio. This is owned by Sting and Trudy Styler.
Oh, Sting.
Isn't this fun?
He makes good music. Does he make good wine?
Well, give it a try. I find this wine, it's a mainly Chianti, maybe 100% Sangiovese, and it is a really beautiful, romantic, smooth wine. I used to sell this a lot when I was working in restaurants because Sting is the background of it. And Il Pelagio has only been owned by 3 families, including them. They've actually pushed the wines to be better, biodynamic, organic certified, really lovely. So it's benefited from Sting and Trudy being there.
Very nice.
Amazing.
Wow, I am being proven wrong left, right, and center.
I know. And now we're getting to the one
Next up.
you had to try. This is the ones you have to try, right?
Oh my God, Snoop. The Snoop wine. That's all I'm hearing about is the Snoop wine.
So first, this is 19 Crimes, Martha's Chard, and Snoop Dogg's Cali Red. I want you to try Martha's Chard first, okay? And I'm going to tell you a little bit more about it because it's Snoop Dogg that kind of started this project and brought Martha in on it. They have their wonderful friendship together. So he was really captivated. I know, right? He was really captivated by 19 Crimes, them putting the British criminal labels on the front because it's an Australian brand. So the blend for the red is actually a Petite Syrah, Zinfandel, and Merlot.
Okay.
And then for Martha Chard, he brought Martha into this. She really wanted to create a Californian Chardonnay, but both of them are actually part of the blending process. She was very particular with.
Good.
Isn't it good?
Yeah, it's good.
I tell people all the time, it's much better than you expect.
Yeah, it's
so
delicious.
much better than you expect. So she was very particular with the blending process. She wanted to create a crisper, leaner Californian Chardonnay. Is that what you got from that?
Absolutely. It's a Californian Chardonnay.
But it's not like overly oaked.
Yeah.
And then for him, he really wanted to go for something juicy, fun, refreshing. He pairs this with the cookbooks, the recipes in his cookbooks, which she helped him get into, which is really funny. And then they might end up making a wine together.
These besties?
I know.
What a great business deal. You can tell. They're just hanging out in a back room having fun.
They really are.
Those two, they're having
living
fun.
life right.
They're living life. Renee, thank you so much for that.
you.
Good information, and I have definitely been proven wrong. If you want to buy these amazing celeb wines, you can click the link below to shop the show. We got a QR code right there if you've got your phone, and we'll take you right to where you can buy it. For now, we're going to break. Stay with us, everyone. So good.
Coming up, nothing says Valentine's like a romantic dinner for two.
Yes, this is one of my favorite date night dishes.
Nice.
And the reason is there's a lot of prep work that goes into the mushrooms, so that's why I like it, because
Yeah.
you can do it together.
Welcome back, everyone. So I drank the wine. I loved it. It's time for some food. I think I need some food. So Julie is back to show us a delicious meal for two that you can make together with your loved one or even like a bestie.
Yes.
But this is a meal you like to make at home with your partner.
Yes, this is one of my favorite date night dishes.
Nice.
And the reason is there's a lot of prep work that goes into the mushrooms. You have to clean them, de-stem them, and cut them. And then there's lots of herbs that you can prep together. So that's why I like it, because you can do it together.
So your the recipe is?
So this is mushroom pappardelle.
A mushroom pappardelle,
Yes.
and I want to know, are you the bossy one? Because you cook, so are you bossing him around
You
in
know
the
what?
kitchen?
He's definitely my sous chef, although he does love to cook, and he's always asking where he can help, which I love.
I love that too.
Right? You
Very good.
Just help me.
Just help me.
Yeah, just don't tell me what to do, just help me.
I love that. Okay,
Yeah.
so how do we start?
Okay, so I've already got this started here. So these mushrooms take about 6 to 8 minutes to cook. And how I start the mushrooms, usually people just dump all the mushrooms in and just expect them to cook.
Yeah.
It's really hard to do that. So what you wanted to do is start with half the mushrooms, let those wilt a little, and then put in the rest of the mushrooms.
Lovely.
And if you have a lot of water, sometimes mushrooms are really watery. What you can do is turn up the heat and let the water evaporate and let those mushrooms caramelize.
Good
So
stuff.
this is the point we're at right now. The mushrooms are cooked. Next, you're going to add butter, so about 2 tablespoons of butter.
It makes everything better.
Of course. And we're making like a creamy sauce, so you need a fat.
Nice.
So the butter is going to go in there, and then we also add the garlic. So this is 2 cloves of garlic.
Okay.
So that's
It's already smelling so good.
and
like
that's going to bring out the flavor of the mushrooms too,
Yes.
like the garlic and everything.
I was over there drinking wine, and all I could smell was
The
mushrooms.
mushrooms smells so good.
It was so
and
nice.
this is the herbs. So this is some thyme and some rosemary.
Lovely.
And also, if you like heat, these are some red pepper flakes.
I sure do.
So I'm going to put a little bit of that. And you just want to let that get fragrant.
Yeah.
So 30 seconds or so.
I'm smelling it all the good stuff.
And then the other thing I love about this dish is it has some wine in it. It only has about 2 tablespoons.
Okay.
So it says you need a dry white wine, but I say pick a wine that you want to drink with the recipe, like instead of wasting the whole bottle. And you can
Okay.
drink it while you're prepping.
Oh,
So
nice.
You want to take the wine and
But you still want it to be white?
The white,
Probably, right? You
Yes.
want it to be
yes.
white.
For the recipe,
Okay.
you need white.
Yeah.
For color as well. It would
Yes.
look kind of weird if it was red.
Yeah.
It would definitely look weird. So you're going to deglaze with the white wine.
Nice.
So just let the alcohol cook off a little bit.
Beautiful.
You can smell it already.
Now, do you two do this a lot? Do you do a lot of co-cooking in the kitchen, or is it
Yes.
sort of tag teaming? One does one, the other does one another night.
we definitely do a lot of co-cooking. And we have 4 kids between us. So
Yeah.
on the nights that we don't have our children, we definitely pick a dish and cook it. That's like one of our favorite things to do together.
And that works out. That sometimes
Yes.
neither of you have the kids.
Yes.
Yay!
Yeah, right?
That's good.
Right?
Yeah, no,
it
that's
is
awesome.
fantastic.
That's beautiful.
And then next you're going to add in the the vegetable broth. I've actually found mushroom broth. They sell that now. So it's some extra flavor.
It'll be extra mushroomy.
Yeah, exactly. So
Which is what
the
we
mushroom
want.
broth, and you want this to reduce by half. But given we don't have all that time right now, so you want that to get up to a simmer and then reduce. And then you're going to go in with the cream. So
Okay.
it only takes a tablespoon of cream. I was on the show a few months ago, and I did a cashew cream. So that's a good
Yes.
substitute for if you can have cream.
Right.
This little amount won't really hurt me, so that's why I'm just going ahead and using regular cream.
Oh, that's right. Sometimes you just got to go for it, eh?
Yeah.
She's supposed to be
I'll stop for
dairy-free,
later.
but every once in a while.
It's fine. It's
yes,
fine.
we
yeah.
make an exception.
Yeah. So I'll let this thicken up just for a second.
Yeah. Now,
But-
in the meantime, do you want to talk a little bit about the pasta?
Oh, yeah. So we use pappardelle noodles for this. And these are those really long, thick noodles.
Yes.
I love these. These are my favorite. These ones in particular are artisanal, and they are made with semolina flour. That's what I wanted to say.
Semolina.
Because there's two kinds. There's also the egg noodles, which are like a lot heartier. I really like those too, but they're quite filling. They're quite filling. So
Okay.
I've actually already cooked the pasta because I wanted this dish to be like done by the end of the segment so that you guys can try it.
Good. Well,
Yeah.
how long? Obviously, with the pasta, you always just follow instructions.
Yes.
But is this a pasta that takes a little bit longer?
This one does. It actually takes 13 to 14 minutes. When I read the package, I was like, oh my goodness, I got to start cooking this like back, 13, 14 minutes ago. So so this one takes a little while. The egg noodles, I think, take like under 10 minutes, which is great.
Good.
So when this is done, it is done.
Ooh, it's a nice thick noodle.
Yes.
Okay, so we're putting it in.
So we're putting it into the mushroom sauce, and then you're going to add some olive oil,
Nice.
a little bit of olive oil.
The good stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
The best you can find, and then this is some parsley.
Beautiful.
So we'll add that. And now you mix it to coat, just to make sure everything is coated well.
Yeah.
Because now the next process is really what's really important. So to make this creamy, you have to add, so take it off the burner. So the stove is going to start going crazy.
Yeah.
So take it off the burner, and you're going to add some pasta water. And the reason this water is important is because it's salted and it's also starchy because we've just cooked the pasta in it.
Okay.
So you want to make sure you put that, a few tablespoons of that. And this is a 1/4 cup of Parmesan cheese. So
This is what's going to make it like thicken up a little bit.
exactly. So this process here, taking it off the heat and then adding the pasta water and then adding the Parmesan cheese. And you want this finely grated that you can buy at the store.
Got it.
Because
not big and chunky.
No, and big and chunky won't work. It'll actually just separate, and you won't get like a creamy sauce.
Well, while you're finishing that up, let's bring Renee in here and talk wine.
Great idea.
Come on in, Renee. So you see the elements of the recipe.
I see the elements of the recipe.
What would this pair well with in your celeb wine stash?
I brought it with me.
Okay.
This is the When We Dance Chianti, which we just had.
Yes.
So I'm just going to pop this right over here, and I'll grab us a glass. So why this works, I know, we're thinking mushrooms, pappardelle, it's not a red sauce. We might be going with a white. We don't need to do that
We don't need
because
to go
we're
with the
having
white.
a Chianti. Now,
Okay.
remember like maybe about a week or so ago, I said if something is fatty, like with cheese and butter,
Yes.
we need to have something with structure in the wine.
Yes.
So the Chianti has some nice
you.
structure, beautiful aromas that are more berry forward instead of the earthiness that's coming from the pasta itself. And the bright acidity goes with the mushrooms as well. So you're not having something that's like overladen on the palate. Now that you've had a bite, go into this, give it a smell. You'll see nice fruit notes.
Ooh.
And I want you to grab this as well. I'm gonna switch with you. You take this, I'll serve. Smell the fruit notes with the.
That's good. Renee's
There
taking
you
over,
go,
and I
there
kind of
you
like
go.
it. It's really
Seriously,
good.
can you come over?
Honestly,
Sure.
the pairing works beautifully.
This is
Renee.
really
She
good.
knows her stuff.
I love this.
What do you think, Jules? Okay, you can't talk and drink at the same time. Thank
good.
you. Thank you for the beautiful recipe. Thank you for the beautiful wine. They go amazing together. Catch the recipe on Cityline.tv. Thanks to both of you. We're going to go to break. More coming up. Stay with us, everyone. Thank you to Nom's Organic Bites for sending our audience this seriously delicious treat. This fresh, fudgy, and chocolatey snack is made with only 4 simple, wholesome ingredients and is 100% good for you. And we are already at the end of the show. What a great one it was. I had a blast. Thank you so much to all of our experts. Thanks to Bruce, Alana, Julie, Jess, and Renee. Thank you to our audience watching at home. Our audience in studio, you were awesome to hang out with. We got into a lot of conversations out there, so thank you for being so awesome. And you know what? Let's do a little cheers. Cheers. Cheers to love, to divorce, to dating, to all the things, and having your money in order. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow right here on Cityline.